Tamara Tamu here, bringing you another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. So, listen, I want to share something with you. One of the fears that you will have or have already had deconstructing from programming, from religious dogma, okay? And you are now choosing to walk in your soul elements, the elements of your soul, not elements of some rigid, programmed way of being, but the elements of your soul, the essence of your true identity. You've made a choice and you're not really sure what's on the other side, but you're continue to walk in that path that your soul is leading you on. Okay? And so what can come along with that on that path is loneliness. It is. You can feel isolated. You can feel like you are by yourself because you have left the very thing that has kept you connected with your family. You're leaving the very thing that has even caused you to have false friendships. Now, I'm not saying that friendships in the church or friendships that you had when you're a part of your religion were not real, but sometimes you will find that that bond that you felt, it was because of the religion. It wasn't that you liked being around the person, or even the person or people liked being around you. You only held a trauma bond, which kept you in communication with that person or people, hence you calling them your friends. And I'm bringing that up because I'm seeing that people are really feeling that loneliness now. And what I want to tell you, okay, in a recent series that if you've been watching, you notice I've been doing a series about how to harness chaotic energy and to use it for your benefit, to use it for your elevation, okay? And when you are feeling lonely, when you are feeling like you are isolated, that you are now on an island by yourself, that can feel very chaotic because now you've left the very thing that you have been accustomed to. Now everything and many things that you thought were or no longer. That can feel chaotic. So what I'm talking about with loneliness, it falls right into that series, okay? And I want to bring this to you now about loneliness is to give you tips on how to address it. Number one, acknowledge that you feel lonely. Acknowledge that you feel isolated. Acknowledge that you miss the people that you used to be around. Acknowledge that you miss that communication, whatever the communication was. Even if in the middle of your communication at the time, that felt not normal, okay? Even in the midst of your communication, you knew it wasn't for you or aligned for you, and yet you just told yourself, well, at least I have someone to talk to. Acknowledge that you are feeling that way. That is the first thing. Number two, you decide, okay, is this loneliness this feeling of isolation, is it going to carry me, or am I going to flip it and carry it? There is a difference. It falls in line with energetics. When you look at something that as you're carrying it, especially when it comes to dealing with emotions, you find that you get to decide what to do with that emotion. You even get to decide how long it's going to stick around and play out, or if it's going to play out in your life. You decide where it's going to go. You decide how it's going to look in your life. All right? Also, another tip I want to give you in addressing loneliness and feelings of isolation, another thing you can do is you can say, okay, how can I use this time that I'm finding where I'm spending a lot of time by myself? How can I use this time now to really start to rediscover what I want in my own life? How can I rediscover more of what I want in my life? And how can I get more of what I want in my life? How can I start to acknowledge again what I want in my life instead of someone telling me what I should want? How can I use this time to reflect on that now? Because maybe, and the reason why I'm using that as a tip, because I use it. The reason why I had to use that when feelings of isolation and loneliness came up for me is because I realized so much of my energy was put into the church, the people that I called my friends in the church, doing things in the church, being a part of this group, that group, the choir, the praise team, teaching, okay, ministering, praying for people, at the altar. If you really know, some of you already know what I'm talking about. Doing all of those things, all my time was constantly filled up. I was always involved in something every single day of the week, with something with church and with the religion. I never took the time to say, okay, how do I want my life to exactly look? There was no slow down time. So use this time to slow down. You have the time by yourself. Look at it as a gift. Then once you do that, another tip that I want to hand you is this. As you are acknowledging how you feel, you're using the time to get back into how you want your life to look and what you want, how you want your life to be, who you want to be, how you want to be expressed in the world. Then you can say, okay, what can I do right now? What can I do right now to start to implement what I want to see in my life? Without any input from anyone else. Because I'm going to say this, and some of you may disagree. This may ruffle some feathers, but no one ever died from feathers ruffled. But sometimes you don't need input. You don't need input from other people. This is the time where you get back into your body to trust that your desires are already complete, that your desires that you are gifting yourself time to reflect on and to rediscover, that those are coming from your soul, that all the resources have already been created for you to have what you want in your life. So now you can start to ask, well, how can I start to implement this every day? I'll give you a very simple example. So say for example, one of the things that you want in your life, perhaps you want to be a writer. Perhaps you always wanted to be a writer, but because you were so busy and being bound by dogma and programming that you forgot that that is really what you desire. How can you start to implement your identity, your soul expression as a writer every day? What do? You write. Anything, something, every day. Write for 5 minutes. And then as the days go on, you can say, well, how can I do more of this in my life? How can I do it all the time? How can this be something that I do? Not something that I do on the side, not a side hustle, but this is what I do. This is who I am, part of who I am. So I want to use that as an example to illustrate that. So let's review the 3 tips that I just gave you. When you are finding yourself feeling lonely and isolated because you have chosen your soul's path, not a program path, you acknowledge, you use the time by yourself in the quiet to rediscover what you want. And number 3, you begin to ask yourself with no feedback, how can I implement more of what I want into my life right now? Right now. Not 2 years from now, not at the end of the year, not by the summertime, not in 90 days, not in 2 weeks, but right now. What you're going to find with just those tips, you're going to begin to feel a liberation that comes from the inside out. All right? Comes from the inside out. And speaking of liberation, I am dropping an event, okay? June 7th, which is a Saturday, at 6 p.m. Central Time. The event is called Deconstructing Religion, Discovering Sovereignty, okay? Beginning June 7th, it will be an event that's over 6 sessions, okay? The 6 sessions won't be consecutive because we're going into some deep, heavy things as it relates to you deconstructing from programming and stepping into your sovereignty. We're going through layers here. We're going to the depths, all right? And the purpose of that program is for you to know that your liberation is now. Your freedom is complete now. Yes, you walked away physically, but now your nervous system has to be liberated, okay? This is about the whole entire liberation of you. And that is what we're going to be covering over six sessions. They are live. This is a live event that I'm doing online, okay? It will not be on this platform. So what I want you to do is go to the link, check out the link to give you more information, all right? And if it feels aligned, sign up now. I'm starting the sale now so that you'll be ready June 7th. Because once you make that commitment, once you make that investment, your liberation has already begun. Your intention has already begun. Your work has already begun. All right? Check out the link in the description box of this video. Let me know what your takeaways are from the tips. And let me know once you start to implement the tips that I just gave you, leave in the comments how it's working for you. Because I want to know. All right? Until next time, be liberated, be free, and be sovereign.